Hello everyone. Over the last 2 decades, our education system has focused on preparing students for standardized tests that are mostly focused on content knowledge. As educators, we have questioned that approach for quite a while, and just recently the Department of Education, along with many education systems in the country, have really shifted, and their thinking has shifted to the skills and the learning outcomes that students will need in the future in jobs that don't even exist yet. The focus is on timeless skills such as communication and collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and citizenship. And we are ready for that challenge. Now, we were very good at test preparation and also at providing students with the content that we were asked to provide. Our teachers and our administrators did a wonderful job in the system that existed. And now, because of those new needs, we are asking everyone to really shift their focus to these new skills. It doesn't mean that content is not important. In fact, content underlies all the thinking, that experts use to solve all kinds of problems. And our students will need to know content, but they will need content in context. In fact, we also know that students learn the content better when it is in context. Here are some of the comments that students made to me at a recent trip to the National FFA Convention.
Because it's not all lecturing, you can learn from doing and not just hearing people describe it how to give it to you.
I really enjoy hands-on learning, and I get that both through the FFA and in Massachusetts Regional Governor's School since I'm a student there. I was a student last year, my junior year, and also this year as a senior.
So are the activities that you do in those classes also different from a lot of your other classes?
Yeah, big time. So I know a lot of people don't like doing the casual sit in a desk, looking at a textbook or on your Chromebooks throughout the entire day, because trust me, I don't either. But in the ag class, we do have a little bit of that, but we also do a lot of hands-on learning. And in my opinion and experience, that helps you get a lot farther in life. You are always able to practice those skills. You're able to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You can work out a problem and find your own solution to that all by yourself, and that's what makes you a better you.
You can see from those comments that students like engaging hands-on learning activities. And it's not just students. I went to Richmond just a few days ago to visit the governor's mansion. And so I took the chance to ask a former high school science teacher who has also won national awards for a K-5 curriculum that she designed. And here's what she had to say. So I'm here in Richmond at the Governor's Mansion with First Lady Pamela Northam. Thank you so much for taking out time of your busy schedule.
So excited.
And I just asked Mrs. Northam what types of learning experiences she would like to see in our schools.
I tell you, some of my very favorite were hands-on project-based learning experiences, whether it was raising trout in the classroom or working experiments for NASA. My children were so engaged and had so much fun when they were learning in that environment. It was such a fun way to learn, and I gotta tell you, it was pretty fun for the teachers too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You can see that this thinking now stretches across the spectrum, and in fact, we see it across the country. Just recently, I also had a chance to visit schools in Ohio and Kentucky that are purely project-based. And at those middle and high schools, students learn everything in cross-curricular activities that are hands-on, that are done in project teams, and there are all kinds of benefits to this approach. Now, none of this is really new to us. As educators, we have known that students learn content best in context, in hands-on, engaging learning activities. We simply haven't had the permission to do it. And now we do have that permission, both from the state level and here locally. So our innovation committee is tasked with creating this outline of what a different school system may look like. What can Rockingham County Public Schools look like to truly engage all students in learning? We need to know what supports our students need. We need to know what help our teachers need. This cannot happen by simply declaring it so. We have to make sure that we understand where we need to provide professional development, additional resources, more mental health services. The Innovation Committee is subdivided into 5 groups: assessment and learning for elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, and then community school relations, and also tiered systems of student supports. In fact, the Student Support Subcommittee will have a big task this week to really create an outline of what appropriate support systems look like in a school division like ours. We have good supports in place, but we still know many of our students who come from traumatic homes or who have other disadvantages really are not ready to learn when they walk through that school door, and we need to provide the help so that all students really means all. I'm excited about the prospect of redesigning the school division based on best practice, based on what we know about brain science, how students learn, what barriers exist to student learning, and how we can best prepare our students for the world that they will live in, that again requires those learning outcomes that we talked about last year: being good communicators, being critical thinkers, being creative, being collaborators, and good citizens. And so now we also need to talk about how we need to narrow the curriculum and what our learning environment should truly look like. One way to think about this is in a way that an American political philosopher made famous. In the 1970s, John Rawls wrote a book called A Theory of Justice. In it, he said that if we want to create a just society, we need to understand that the society we create, we will be born into. And so how do we create the rules and parameters for a society that will work for us, that will be just for us, fair for us, regardless of which circumstances we're born into? We can use a similar approach in education. We can talk about what should Rackham County Public Schools look like if we are then born into this community and have to attend those schools. How can we make sure that it works for us regardless of whether we are born wealthy, poor, gifted, maybe from a home that is characterized by trauma, maybe born with a disability, whatever you may have, it needs to work for us. And so if we think about that, regardless of our circumstances, our abilities, our backgrounds, how can it work for us? And let's design that system so that we can truly say we are here for all students. Again, this is not an easy task. It is not easy to redesign a system, but we can do this. We have changed the system before, and now we get to change it in a way that actually is aligned with what brain science says about student learning and with what we have believed for a long time about what education should be like. Hands-on, real-world, engaging learning where students are content creators and also have a voice and choice, but where content is still important, except that it is important in context and how it can be transferred to other subject areas, where things are done across subject areas, and so on. So the Innovation Committee is working on those tasks, and I hope you join us. I hope you will join us once we have the broad outline ready to discuss more the details and the implementation timeline and what it really takes to make this happen. I'm thrilled to be part of it. I hope you are as well. Again, it is not an easy task, but I think we are ready to go in that direction. And so I hope you join us, and I wish you a wonderful spring semester. Thank you.